And meeting announcement. So we are in business. Everyone, welcome to this 64th meeting of Quantum Leap Advanced Toastmasters Club. And conveniently enough, I also happen to be the president, so I don't have to waste any time handing over to anyone else. So
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
DTM Ajay, can you stop sharing your screen at this point? You can start
yeah,
when it's your turn to. Otherwise, it conveys a wrong message.
right. Yeah. So I can stop the sharing. So
Yeah,
no worries.
thanks.
So
Okay, yeah,
all
thank
right.
you.
So welcome once again, and thank you so much for joining us. We have a few guests with us today. I would quickly seek their introductions. So first, Miss Alina Khan, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me in the club meeting today. My name, as you guys know, is Alina Khan, and I'm working at Contour as Associate Manager for PSN IT Service Line. And I have been part of the Toastmaster Club just now. It's been a few months, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this whole journey, and I'm happy to be part of the club to share my insights today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I must say one thing that having being a co-founder of the Contour clubs, I believe that the Contour has been one of the best things that has happened to Toastmasters in Pakistan. I'm truly stunned by the commitment shown by Contourians and the talent. I mean, no matter which Contourian you pick up in which meeting, uh, you guys are such excellent and eloquent speakers. So absolutely thrilled to have you, Toastmaster Alina Khan. We have our area director, Toastmaster Salman, although everyone knows you, but to fulfill the protocol, please introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. Am I audible? Okay, thank you so much, DTM Talha, for warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Salman Hussain. I'm Toastmaster at Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club, and I'm also having the responsibilities of uh, Area Director 8. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that succinct and very humble introduction. Delighted to have you, as always. And another Contorian, Toastmaster Mason Heather. Please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Misam Heather, and I'm a technical writer and a business analyst at Contour Islamabad. And we've been a club for almost a year. We started our Toastmaster journey in November, by the end of October, and we'll be celebrating our first year anniversary by the end of October this year. And during this time, we have received the distinguished club award as well, and I'm really proud of the members, and looking forward to seeing our members' speech. She's joining this meeting for the first time. I've been here a few times before, and I love the keynote speeches in this club. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mason. And yes, Quantum Leap is one club where so many people from distinct clubs and areas and divisions come together. So that's once again great to see. And yes, Contour has been doing well exceptionally as a club, especially as a corporate club. I think it's very important that your clubs are achieving distinguished status. Although with evolution, we find out that DCP is just one aspect of a club's quality. And the real quality that I see, very honestly, with Contour is that no matter how many educational awards are there or how many points are there on the DCP, your members are always eloquent, always very well read. I mean, compared to many experienced Toastmasters, including myself, you guys have absorbed the curriculum to a much greater degree, and that's always great to see. We have another area director, DTM Irfan Faruqi. I'm thinking, in fact, we have two area directors. So we can call emergency district executive committee meeting and remove the current PO and appoint ourselves. Over to you, DTM Irfan. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is my new set of hands-free. I believe I'm audible. There was a big problem in previous meetings because of my original iPhone set at that I'm on Parvati, and your smile says that yes, my headphones are working correctly. On Parvati, I'm area director 5. Pakistan, I live in Lahore. I work with the Central Paper and Government Limited. I am the head of the department, which is for corporate excellence. We look for the improvement in the management systems associated with the Toastmasters since 2020. It's been 4 years now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, DTM Irfan, as always, looking forward to your speech today. And of course, I'd like to recognize there's a term that we used, past president, but I'd like to change it. I'd like to change it to perpetual president, because DTM Saif Ali Sheikh is our founding president, and a founding president is a president forever. We respect him, we revere him, we love him, we are also scared of him. So he is the perfect combination of everything. Sincere gratitude for joining DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. And with that, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. Now, as introductions go, I can say that how many DTMs or how many years DTM Sudarshan has spent in Toastmasters, or that he is one of the charter members of this club and another club in District 122. He's a great champion of Toastmasters, and especially a great champion of Toastmasters in Pakistan. Yes, all of that is true. He's also financial professional by profession, and he's a lot of things. But my primary introduction of DTM Sudarshan is that he's an embodiment of today's keynote theme, that everything, everywhere, one at a time. He can speak on science, he can speak on commerce, he can speak on boring topics, he can make all kinds of speeches, he can coach very well, and like all geniuses, he is very kind, very understanding, 99% of the time, and slightly unpredictable 1% of the time. But again, that's true for all of us. So we all love him. He's been an integral part. I mean, he's one of the people, along with DTM Saif and of course Ajay here, that really make up Quantum Leap. So without further ado, let me hand over the charge to DTM Sudarshan with just one caveat right now that timer will be joining soon, but till that time, I'll be performing the timing duties. So over to you, DTM Sudarshan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, the first thing I promise, I will be very predictable in today's meeting. There is an agenda and we shall follow that. So let's get cracking. The theme that I've chosen for today is pretty much summed up by the keynote speaker's title. The lessons that I have learned on the road. And by lessons, I mean lessons that I've learned while riding in taxis with a variety of drivers. And somewhere my leadership thinking, my leadership approach and attitude has been shaped in some way or form by these pithy remarks mentioned by this rustically intelligent human beings who see a myriad of humans throughout their working day, and they interact with each of us with that exact precision that is required to be imbued in that particular interaction. You might be angry, you might be happy, you might be tired, you might be tensed. A taxi driver will always ensure that your journey is exactly the way you want it to be. And that brings me to the first anecdote that I want to share. This was way back in early 2000s. I had received my marching orders, so to speak, my first job outside of India. And one of the activities that it entailed was to go for a So I was in this taxi, sitting next to the taxi driver. The taxi driver, as they do in India, especially in Mumbai, had a mouthful of pan. And he was munching away at it at his own pace, driving with one hand on the wheel, one hand all over the place, doing everything except driving. And it so happens that there is a red light approaching, and a lady from the outside lane cuts across and completely blocks our way, doing something that she shouldn't be doing, making a U turn where there is none. Those of us that are from Karachi or Mumbai will relate to it very easily. I don't know about other cities in Pakistan, how disciplined or otherwise they are, but in India, you will find this everywhere. And the driver very casually looks out the window, spits on the road, looks at the lady and says, Madam, can I share something to you? The entire estimate of your vehicle will fix my car if something happens. That lady didn't know where to look. Says, Madam, you're driving a good car. If I even touch your car, you will spend 1,500 rupees just for the estimate. In 1,500 rupees, I'll be back on the road. Then he looks at me and says, it's not what you drive, it's not where you drive, it's how you drive that makes all the difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was one lesson that I have absorbed and imbued. Because when I look at somebody and they flash a Mont Blanc pen, or they're wearing an Armani suit, or they are carrying a Gucci bag, or they're probably wearing a Versace belt, I look at them and I wait for them to open their mouth. Once you start displaying your ignorance, all the appendages that you carry will take you thus far and no further. So that is going to be the theme of today's meeting. Lessons that have gleaned from people that we tend to ignore. However, the first lesson that you learn from every taxi driver is that getting to the destination quickly is most important, because you can take a passenger for a ride. In the process, not only does the passenger lose time and money, you as a driver also end up wasting your time and missing out the next passenger. Exactly that way, our meeting will run to time and run to plan. And to do the honors, right now it is going to be our Sergeant at Arms rolled into President, rolled into Superman, rolled into Mr. Wise Beard himself, Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, who will be timing the meeting till Toastmaster Imran joins us and takes over. I'm same is like trying to pour a thimbleful of water into an ocean, and that's of no point, right? So let's get going further. As we go along in our meeting today, we also will look at the way we wrangle, tangle, and mangle the English language, the way we use it, how eloquently do we use it, and how much better could we do. The language evaluator for today's meeting, pardon me for doing this, but I need to look at my phone for a bit, because when you take a quantum leap, you're never sure of where the platform is and how far you're going to leap. So things keep changing. The language evaluator also is the same person. So, like I said, a Superman can do everything and a little more than what you thought about. He is an embodiment of that. Look at his beatific smile. I'm sure he will quote this word at the end of the meeting as well. So that is also DTM Talha bin Hamid, and not allow him any opportunity to give us any admonishments. All we want from him is approbations as we go along in today's meeting. Now, every Toastmasters meeting has 3 segments, but Quantum Leap takes a physical and metaphysical quantum leap. We don't have 3, we sometimes have 4, sometimes even have 5. Today we have 4 segments because the Geek of the Week is decided to give us all the geekiness that that person possessed, and therefore we are all geeks of the week. But we do have a keynote speaker, and our keynote speaker, another person who I look up to in the Toastmasters fraternity, A man of few words, but each word is of great import. Each word gives us a lot of food for thought. He is all pervasive, multiple districts, multiple areas, multiple clubs, multiple accolades, multiple titles. He is currently a DTM, I don't know how many times over, but I'm sure his value is multiplied or integral to the Toastmasters fraternity itself. Whether you see him in San Francisco or in Hyderabad or in Karachi or anywhere else, he is bringing to the table the same set of values. Our keynote speaker for today is Toastmaster GK Ajay. He is coming to us today with a very important topic, something that all of us need to do, most of us try to do, 99.9% of us fail to achieve. That is everything, everywhere, one step at a time. Because guess what? Our heart beats once, and then second time, and then third time, 72 times over a minute. And that is the right million miles of journey, putting your left foot after your right and repeating that process. I'm sure Toastmaster Ajay is going to give us food for thought and a lot of insights into how everything everywhere falls in place, one step at a time. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Ajay.
Thank you, DTM Sudarshan. Let me my so hi everyone. Thank you for having me here, and I am very much interested and delighted and excited to share my thoughts, my insights, and my perspectives on a topic called the work-life integration. It was until recently when I come across this work-life integration concept, I was under the impression that there is only one concept called work-life balance. So after this, I came across this work-life integration concept, I started researching and watching lots of videos and listening to podcasts and reading a lot of content about what this work-life integration is. So today I'm going to share my insights and thoughts and how I embraced this concept to be more organized and be more productive in my day-to-day activities.
यार
So
साहब इसको जरा चार्ज पे लगाओ
okay, so let's move on to the topic. Let's dive into the topic. So let us have a comparison, or let's see the difference between what is work-life balance and what is work-life integration. In the work-life balance, we will be thinking about more than one activity at a time. So when you're in office, you will be thinking about home. When you're at home, you will be thinking about office, and you tend to pressurize yourself to maintain that balance between work-life things. Sometimes passion will come, sometimes hobbies will come in between. But when it comes to work-life integration, we think only one step at a time, one activity at a time. There is no pressure, nothing. We will move on to the next activity once the current task is completed, and our life will become harmoniously happy. So then nothing is there in the work-life integration. When it comes to work-life balance, pressure will be there. And I come across this work-life integration quote somewhere in the internet, and it's a work-life integration concept is combining two things: who we are and what we are focused on. So it's very simple formula. That's it about work-life integration concept. Now let's move on to the success part. The definition of success might vary individual to individual. Few people might define in a other way, and a few individuals might define in the altogether different way about the success. But for me, success is like playing a test match or running a marathon. Because in order to become a successful, it will take time. You need to give some time, and then you need to be very patient, and sometimes it will get delayed. It's not like a T20 match. The success won't come in 1.5 hour or 1 hour like a T20 match or like a sprint. And in the same way, success is not about all maidens or all high scoring overs. It's like combination of dot balls, singles, fours, and sixes. So life is a combination of all these things. Then only the success will come to you. So this is my definition of success. And when we move on to the next slide, what actually this slide speaks about what actually makes you success. But what we actually think success is hard work. So if you do hard work, success will come. But as far as this concept is concerned, the work-life integration concept is concerned, success comes when you combine all these categories into your life. So for example, the first category is yourself. It's nothing but invest in yourself, enroll for a course, enroll for Toastmasters, work on it, invest in yourself, upgrade yourself. So this comes under the yourself category. Second category is health. Health is more important. If there is no health, you don't have anything. Go for a walk, hit the gym, and most importantly, be conscious on what you eat. That makes you a healthy person. The third category is the family. Spend some time with your family members. So spending some time means like all your family members sit in one room and bury your heads in your mobiles. It's not spending the time altogether. Speak to that individual, speak to your family member, ask how the day went, get to know about their aspirations, ambitions, and support them. That's what we call spending some time. Give quality time to your family. And the fourth category is your purpose. What is your purpose in your life? As we are Toastmasters, we have a purpose when we joined Toastmasters. Some Toastmasters have a goal to become a good speaker. Some will have a goal to become a good leader. Others will have a goal to become a better individual. So what is the purpose of joining Toastmasters or enrolling for a course or going for the gym or those things? So don't forget about the purpose, but just work on that purpose. And the next category is the passion. Have something in your life which you like the most. For example, few people love to write speeches and deliver the speeches. Few people love to contribute to the society. That's their passion. Few people help others. So that's their passion. What I mean to say is have a passion in your life, and that passion will make your life so beautiful. And the last category, but this is most important, strategize. Strategize your activities in the work-life integration concept. So without strategizing and without working, if you don't strategize, you don't have solid results. So the next slide, I'm going to show how I strategize my daily activities and how I work on the activities one after the other. So this is my daily routine. I divide my day into 4 parts: morning, afternoon, evening, and night. If you see, most of my activities are concentrated in the morning itself because during the morning, I will have more energy, fresh mind, and I can do more. As the day progresses, my energy levels deplete, my concentration goes down. That's how that's the reason I planned most of my activities in the morning. So I start my day with warm water and then go for meditation, then go for walk and ensure that I spend some time with my son before he get into his school bus. Once he leaves the home, I sit down, prepare my Toastmaster speeches because with fresh mind I will get fresh thoughts and then work on my passion. So the next are my passion: learning Russian language, Spanish, building my vocabulary, reading something or the other, or listening to an audiobook. So these are all my passionate area. So that I moved it to my morning part. My office starts at 2 p.m. India time, so that's when my office starts. In the afternoon, I sandwich Toastmasters meetings and office related activities so that I give equal priorities to both of them. And whenever I get some time, I ensure that I go to my mother and sit with her and talk to her and then come back to office work again. By the way, I work from home, so that's the reason I'm able to spend time with my mother. And in the evening, I again continue my work, my office, and do some yoga. By the time my wife returns from her office and I spend some time with her and ask her like, how did the work went in your office today? So it's kind of connecting with family members, and then go for a walk and again back to Toastmasters activities. During the night, this is very important. I ensure that I have my dinner with my family members and review the day, how it went well, what could have been done better, and plan the next day. So this section is very important. The night part is very important. And if you see few things like meditation, walk, Duolingo, there are these, the sense like the number of days. So since 234 days, I'm doing meditation without any break. I'm going for a walk. My goal is to cover 3 kilometers, but I tend to cover 8 and 7 kilometers on a daily basis. And Duolingo Spanish, those are the number of days I have been on that course without any interruption, without any break. So I track all those things because that gives me a boost to do more and more. A few tips, very few tips, what I observed in my journey, the word of the day, journey in the work-life integration. Avoid distractions. So when you're on an activity, don't check your mobiles in the middle or don't deviate. The next and most important thing is plan, execute, evaluate, repeat. Plan the entire day in advance, execute one after the other activity, and then evaluate. Sometimes some ad hoc will come. The activity has to be postponed to the later part of the day. That's fine. But ensure that the activity is completed by the end of the day. And never lose focus on your tasks. Be concentrated on what you are doing currently and don't think about the next task or the gone activity. And don't take huge steps, take small steps. For example, my goal is to walk or take 10,000 steps on a daily basis. I don't go at a stretch 10,000 kilometers. In the morning, I take 4,000. In the afternoon, if possible, I go for another 3,000. In the evening, 3,000. That's it. So 10,000 is covered. And have control on what you do. Don't spend much time on a single activity. For example, if I like writing speeches, Toastmaster speeches, I might tend to spend more time on that activity, maybe 2 to 3 hours on a daily basis. There is nothing wrong in that. But if you have other activities lined up, it will impact those activities as well. So have control on what you do and on the activities which you are doing. So these are the few tips which came to my mind while preparing this presentation and preparing for this topic. So just wanted to share with you, and think that's it. This comes to a conclusion of my work-life integration concept. So what I wanted you to do is reflect on what we have covered. So we have covered the differences between work-life balance and work-life integration. I have shared my definition of success. Success is not like hard work only, it's a combination of few things. And I have shared my daily routine, how I categorize various activities into, put into various buckets. And then I have shared everything. So what I wanted you to do is go back and reflect on what we have covered today and try to plug in the tips or the techniques which I have shared into your daily life so that you will become more organized and more productive. So this concludes my speech. So thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. So
Thank you very much, DTM Tajay. Indeed, something to do and some compartments to select during the 24 hours that you've been bestowed with. A very appropriate speech for all of us Toastmasters who tend to believe that time exists as an elastic or questions, if any, to be directed to Toastmaster GK Ajay. So anyone that has a question can just unmute and ask Toastmaster Ajay. We can take up to about 5 questions within the time that we have. Mr. Timer, is that all right? Perfect. So anyone with a question? Let me get the ball rolling. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Talha. Go ahead.
You go ahead first. Yeah.
Okay. So my question to our keynote speaker is very simply that while compartmentalizing your life is fabulous, what I did not notice in that slide that you showed was time for mindless fun. Because I strongly believe need something that you think is relevant and important.
Sorry, DTM Sudarshan, can you please repeat the question?
I am
Your
saying that
screen got-
we all need to allocate some amount of time every day for having mindless fun, something purely for ourselves, something just for fun. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. So I find, or maybe I found fun in few activities which I do. For example, when I go for a walk, I just don't go for a walk. Okay, I ensure that I am doing conscious walking, watching my surroundings, enjoying the nature, and try to help others. Like yesterday, when I was going on a walk, one two-wheeler was backing his vehicle, and all of a sudden, the back wheel went into the drainage. He was about to fall into to the drainage, and he was screaming, "Help! Help!" So I ran to him and lifted the vehicle, and so that he can move the vehicle forward. So I found joy in those kind of things which I do while walking. And when I'm learning Russian language also, I ensure that I enjoy it. So maybe it's a conscious enjoy joy finding activities, but obviously we can have other activities also, like you can have some time to check your social media uh, things accounts, also Facebook or Instagram. So you can have also some bucket or some time for them as well. I hope I answered your question, DTM Sudarshan.
Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. DTM Talha, your question.
Okay. First of all, thank you, DT and GK Ajay, for boiling down the work-life integration and, in fact, life balance to a science. So, my question to you is that what do we do if we, like, for example, the framework that you presented? Uh, I think the underlying assumption in that framework is that uh, the person has a reasonable control over whatever they're doing professionally, whether it's a job. Uh, what do people who are in subordinated positions, who are not really in charge of their workday, how can they evolve towards this model?
Okay, excellent question, DTM Talha. So, for example, the framework which I have shown, or the activities list of activities which I have shown, I'm not 100% like I will complete all the activities on a single day. For example, due to my work, I might not complete few things. For example, I might not write a speech on a particular day. So what I do is the next day, as soon as I get up, I ensure that I complete my speech and then move on to the activities. So this is how I work, because most of the times all days are not equal. Sometimes you will get something or the other ad hoc kind of an activity. So what I do is, when we are reflecting on the day towards the end or during the night, I ensure that what are the activities which I haven't attended, what are the activities which I'm pending, and make sure that I complete those activities early in the next morning, so that I can make justice to all the activities by that time. So this is how I manage TTM Talha.
Thank you so much. I think that provides a lot of uh, clarity to the query that I had. Thank you so much. Over to you, DTM Solution.
I think Irfan has some question. He has raised his hand.
Yes, first of all, let me know whether I'm properly audible or not. Because-
Yes, you are clearly audible.
All right. So my question was about your working from home. Have you settled some room in your house as your office, or you sit anywhere and perform your activities? Many times we have seen a lot of jokes for people working from home, activities going on their backside, every moment and things like that. So how do you manage your workplace? Like you set up a place to work with, or you move around your house?
Okay, so thank you for the question, TTM Irfan. I have a table. Okay, I have a proper table wherein I can. I basically work on 3 laptops. So my office has provided me 3 laptops. So I have to work on those 3 laptops at a time. So I have a big table. No one moves behind, but people will be my family members moving from by my side. That doesn't distracts me, and I ensure that I inform them whenever I have a meeting. There will be no noise in the room. Sometimes my wife will do put on mixie, and she do some kind of masala kind of a thing, and then before I have a meeting, I ensure that I inform her not to make any noise. And the grinder in our house like will make a lot of noise. It's a old grinder. It will like it's like a train passing through a nearby platform. So that much noise it will make. So what I did is I brought a new grinder recently. So don't make that noise. Put it in a another room. So I ensure that my family members are aware. So if I have any meetings on a particular day, I inform them in advance not to make any noise or not to move near me. So this is the things which I follow when working from home.
Great.
So any more questions, please?
Yeah, probably which will have to be the last question. So over to you, Toastmaster Jahazib.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I could not get the whole speech because I joined late. Maybe you have covered it. So I have two comments for understanding. You know, once we hear this speech, we have some impact and we apply those points in our lives and try to make things compartmentalized and very much systematic, and we keep the balance. But then after some time, our motivation goes down, and there are some weekdays where we could not find the momentum, and then it all goes to drain. So that is something very important, that we keep ourselves motivated. Maybe we make some kind of points where we see, or we make some kind of mantras where we can remind ourselves that we need to be on track. Because once we hear these speeches or seminars or self-help videos or something, we get motivated. But after some time, we lose it all. So in case TM Ajay, you have any feedback or any advices, please let me know, because I'm like this, and I feel like integration from the work and life is very important. And my other point is somewhat related to DTM Talha. I would like to extend it, that we are trying to establish a balance between our work and the life. But the most important factor is our boss. If the boss is somewhat unorganized, then you cannot make a balance. That is something which is very true for the manufacturing setup, where we all rely on the productivity of other departments, and our own plans do not go as we like. So the bosses are the deciding factor of our work life, and those those decisions and the working style of our bosses, those determine our personal lives as well. So that is very important for me, at least, because I belong to the manufacturing setup. So over to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the first question related to how you can maintain consistency in what you are doing. So I have a plan here which I follow. So when I'm working on Duolingo, learning Russian language and Spanish, I sometimes work on Greek as well. So what I do is I work with my friend. I don't do all alone. So whatever achievements I have done, I will inform him. Whatever achievements he has done, he will inform me. So that's how we go. So same in Toastmasters. If someone is giving a speech, we get inspired, and then we also think, okay, I have to also give speech. So that's how the speech preparation will come. Whenever a person performs well as a grammarian, I also think, okay, I can also be a grammarian. I can take his assistant's help. So if you want to have a consistency, there is one way. Work with some other person who shares your interest, common interests, so that you can go hand in hand. So that's how I maintain. But most of the times I work alone. I motivate myself on a daily basis that I have to do Duolingo. So that's the reason I have so many days, like more than 1500 days without any break on few activities. Moving on to the next question, like if your boss is not organized. So fortunately for me, my I don't call them boss, I call them leaders, because they support each and every team member to pursue their passion. Work is work, but you have to also have a passion or maybe some other interesting activity in your life. They never said no to Toastmasters. They never said whenever you want to go for a break, they already have a place. Okay, just go for a break and come. But ensure that the work is completed by the end of the day. So my manager tells one thing: do whatever you want, but ensure that the work is completed by the end of the day. So we feel that relaxed. We don't get pressurized. So we have that flexibility at work. So
Thank you very much. Those were insightful questions and equally insightful answers. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I had promised you that DTM Ajay will leave you with food for thought. I think this being 11 a.m. in Pakistan, 10 a.m. in Dubai, and wherever else you are, this was lunch, dinner, breakfast, and a little bit of dessert all thrown into one. And I'm sure our appetites for more knowledge and more information has just been whetted. We are now ready to take on much more than what GK Ajay has told us. And when I summarize this, what comes to mind are those immortal lines by Allama Iqbal, which says, Khudi ko kar buland itna. I'm sure all of you know what the rest of it is. That is the essence of what he said. It is all about empowering yourself to be bigger than leave. They will cherish once you leave the stage. And that is the essence of doing everything the way it should be done, at the time it should be done, and in the best manner you can deliver it. Let's now turn the wheel of the taxi and move in another direction. Now, this is yet another incident that happened in my life. It was a typical rainy afternoon in Bombay. The streets started getting flooded. Offices started letting people go early because they knew that the trains will stop plying and therefore people will get stranded. Me being me, decided to ignore all the warnings and decided to drive on my own. Hey presto, after about 10 minutes of driving, water was inside my car up to my ankles. I still kept driving. After a little while, my water was in the car up to my waist. Sudarshan still drives. As I get going further, water is now up to my chest. I couldn't realize whether I'm in a swimming pool or in a car. And a cop looks at me. He keeps doing this, and I didn't understand what he's saying. He says, roll your window down. So I rolled it down promptly. More water started hitting me from all directions. And then he says to me, no, in fact, a taxi that passes next to me says to me, do whatever you want, but don't stop doing what you're doing. So I said, what do you mean? He said, if you take your foot off the pedal, your car will stall and you will be stranded. Keep pressing the accelerator, keep moving. As he went away after saying that, I somehow managed to reach home. By the time I got home, covered in filth, walked into my house. A whole lot of my friends called to say, we are stranded here, we are stranded there, we couldn't get home, etc., etc. But I remembered that driver's lines to me. Keep pushing. You never know where you will get. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has stayed with me as well. Because all of us, in whatever that we do, whether it's our social life, spiritual life, our professional lives, or our secret lives even, we are always pushing the accelerator to the best extent possible. Some of us get assailed by self-doubt and tend to take our foot off the pedal. Those are the ones who say, because those that keep their foot on the pedal, be the cause. Not so successful person. Precisely how we do things in Toastmasters. We are all trying to be the cause of change because we are trying to develop ourselves by coming to this platform, delivering our speeches, practicing it diligently before we come here, and then absorb the feedback that we get to come back the next time to do it even better. Precisely the same way, we are going to look at, listen to, and experience two different speakers, two very distinct speaking styles. And of course, we will do what Quantum Leap is known to do, which is to provide evaluations with the precision of a surgeon, with the care of a mother, and of course, with the wisdom of Solomon. All of it put together in one package. That is our next segment, which is prepared speeches with evaluations to follow immediately after the speech is delivered. So without further ado, let's now move on to our first speaker. And this is a speaker that I look up to literally and figuratively. Look up to because a lot of times his camera angles are such that I need to look up at him. But more often than not, I look up to his speeches because he brings that soul and sort of earth with everything that he says. The last time I heard him speak, he said, I'm not a leader. And I wanted to vehemently nod my head left to right and say, no, sir, you truly are a leader. Then he brought in so many examples of what leadership meant to him and where he aspires to be. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him in the firmament of what is Pakistan, the nation, at some very senior level, taking some very important decisions very soon. Without further ado, let me present our speaker number one, DTM Irfan, which is DTM Talha once again, to tell us the specific objectives of this level one speech from research and presentation being the objective. But let's listen to Talha to tell us the very specific objectives of the speech. Over to you, DTM Talha. He's now looking elsewhere.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, we need to actually reconfigure a few things since I'm the lead evaluator. And to bring more variety to the meeting, if I can request Toastmaster Jahanzeb Shah, taking advantage of his presence, if you can be the lead evaluator, and for this speech, I'll if I share the project details with you, would that be okay?
My apologies. I'm not sure about the requirements of the lead evaluator.
Yeah, here's the good news for you. There are no requirements. You just need to be a very ordinary garden variety evaluator. The only difference is that you need to hand over the charge to the panel evaluators afterward. That's all you need to do. First, you do your evaluation, which is conventional evaluation, and then you hand over the charge to the other panel evaluators. That's all you need to do.
Okay, so which are the panel evaluator? I can get it from the agenda, right?
Right. No, actually, that will need a little change. So I'll just let them know, announce them right now.
Yes.
So first of all, I'm sharing the evaluation sheet with you. And again, let me highlight this for everyone. Practiced by DTM Irfan Faruqi. He meticulously shares the evaluation sheet one day before his speeches, and with proper name and labeling. So this is something we don't often see. We should emulate that. So I've just shared that with Toastmaster Jahanzeb Shah on WhatsApp. We'll need to also reconfigure the panel speakers. The auditory panels evaluator is DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. Visual was supposed to be Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim, but since he's not been able to join, I will request Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim, if you can provide a 1-minute feedback about the visual aspects of the speech. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Fantastic. Perceptible evaluation was supposed to be done by Toastmaster Imran. He cannot join, so I will be doing that. And finally, the language evaluation will be done by DTM GK Ajay. So just to recap, the auditory evaluation DTM SAF, visual evaluation Toastmaster Salman, perceptible by myself, and language by DTM GK Ajay. So and just to streamline things a bit, I'll just announce the project. The project that DTM Irfan Farooqi is doing is researching and presenting. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. So without further ado, please put your hands together for DTM Irfan Farooqi. Not a drop to drink. Not a drop to drink. DTM Irfan Farooqi.
I would need to upload my PowerPoint, please.
I think you have the right. Just try to share the screen.
Yeah, now I have the right.
DTM Talha, could you please enable? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is. Please go into slideshow mode because all your slides are visible together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not visible to me. It
Just
came
put
on
your
the stage.
Just put your presentation on slideshow and then share your screen. Otherwise, share your presentation on WhatsApp. I can share my screen from here.
Some problem. Now, when I'm sharing my whole PowerPoint slide, I can't do anything else. What I can do is, what are you saying? Where should I put my PowerPoint?
Put it on WhatsApp on the Quantum Leap group, then I will share it.
Okay. Just give me then few seconds, please. I'm sorry, it's taking quite some time.
Can we go to the next speaker and come back to you in that case, if that's all right?
If it is okay with you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. Why not? At least in the interest of time, let's go to Toastmaster Alina first. Then we'll come back to you. Yeah. Great. So after all the preparation, now we turn our attention to our next speaker. Now, this next speaker is someone that I'm encountering for the first time. Therefore, my ability to introduce her is going to be only limited to the fact that the agenda said Anila, which for me from the part of India that I come from is representative of the color blue or purple or violet. Yeah. And surprise, she is wearing a purple colored dupatta. So that kind of is the only connection that I could build. And she seems like a very enthusiastic speaker because before the meeting started, I asked her about her name. And instead of saying, yes, it is me, she gave me a full explanation. And that tells me that this is someone that knows the art and science of connecting with people. So in order for us to understand what she's going to do and why she's going to do it, I would like to call upon her lead evaluator, who's also absent from the meeting, which means that we reject this panel as well. So who is the lead evaluator, DTM Talha?
I was thinking about requesting DTM GK Ajay to take the lead, and which will leave just one slot for auditory evaluation, which DK and GK Ajay already has. So, GK Ajay, would you like to be the lead evaluator for this?
Yes, sure, DTM Talak.
Thank you so much. So we can request maybe Toastmaster Salman Hussain, if you could be the 1 minute panel evaluator for auditory aspects of the speech, would that work?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, actually, it's the others. We have two Salmans. So Salman Ibrahim, you will be engaged in the second speech, and Toastmaster Salman Hussain, for this particular speech by Toastmaster Alina Khan, you will be the auditory evaluator. All right. So let me note down the panel in the chat box, and meanwhile, DTM Sudarshan, you can introduce.
Sure. So let's go ahead with speaker number 1, who was speaker number 2. A little bit of confusion, but we are taking a quantum leap. So I'm sure when you're doing that, these things are de rigueur. So we have a speech coming to us from the path Persuasive Influence. It's a level 1 speech of feedback and evaluation. Toastmaster Alina will receive feedback and work on the evaluation and deliver the speech. Alina Khan, with your speech from the Persuasive Influence Path Level 1 Feedback and Evaluation. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. Imagine a girl huddled up in the corner of her room, eyes open wide with fear. And she comforts and hugs her brother. She tells him, "Don't be worried, Sean, everything will be all right." But in her mind and her heart, she knows that something terrible has gone wrong. There's a whirlwind of thoughts that comes up to her mind, and she thinks that she's the reason for the conflicts that is coming up. She tells her brother, "Don't worry, Mama, Baba aren't fighting." In that moment, she thinks, what if Mama, Baba, they live separately? What if we have to live without either of them? Who will we be living with? And we need both, as they both complete us. And while she is thinking and while she is in this thought process, her mother comes into the room and consoles her. "Don't worry, sweetheart. It's not your fault. Everything will be fine." But is it going to be fine? She thinks to herself. What could a merely 6-year-old girl would think that who's right and who's wrong? What is right and what is wrong? The trauma has been internalized her, and due to this trauma, she blames herself for the conflicts that is happening in her family. She thinks that she's that tiny catalyst that has shattered the peace in her family. As she internalizes those blames, it leads to a persuasive nature of in what she's doing. She has lost trust. She is afraid of the fear of abandonment, and it has internalized in herself. Can you think back about the childhood that you have had? For some, childhood brings back memories of truths of happiness and joys, and for others, it's a mix of both joy and pain. Didn't you feel, for some of you, you might have felt that if you have had been such traumas, didn't you feel a lot on your tiny shoulders? The weight was a little bit too much to handle on your tiny shoulders then? Because you thought that you were the reason for the conflicts and the disagreements within your family. While that girl, she grew up with this trauma, she thought she had this fear and she was always anxious. And it had built her character that she could not trust people around her, be it her colleagues, be it her on friends. She had to sacrifice her needs so that she could maintain peace around her, so that she could maintain everybody is happy around her. While I researched the topic, I figured out that how these childhood traumas that leads to how we behave in adult. So there have been major three attitudes that come up. Such people who have been with such traumas, they fear loss of rejection. They constantly ask for approvals. Should I be doing this? अगर मैं ये कर लूं तो ये हो जाएगा. अगर मैं ये कर लूं तो ऐसा तो नहीं होगा. Constantly. And third are trust issues. They don't know how to make boundaries. So they would take excessive responsibilities on themselves in order to please people around them. We call them people pleasers. When I thought about my inner child, and I thought to myself, what is inner child? And I was researching about it. The dots finally connected for me. How the childhood has, structured my adolescence. But when I look back in order to search for my inner child, I thought to myself, I think it died long time ago. I can't find it anymore. For some of us, we might have to mature in our early ages, and we lost the inner child during this journey. But when I looked myself into the mirror and I stared into the mirror, what I found was a strong mother, all puffed up with makeup and everything, had a smile on her face. I took off that makeup and I saw a weary and exhausted person looking back at me. But those eyes, they seemed familiar. The smile that I managed, that seemed familiar. There was my inner child. But she was still fearing. She was still anxious. She was looking up to me. And I realized that I wanted to hug her. I wanted to give her the confidence that it never was her fault, that it's okay to say no. And she could keep her needs in front of the others. It's okay to say no, and it has always been fine. But I imagined her rolling eyes back at me and telling me that now you're telling me this. Isn't it too late? But I thought that day that I'll be taking my inner child with me on a journey to rediscover myself, to find that wholesomeness and peace that was missing in my life due to such traumas. And I don't want that to take over right now. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for sharing my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alina. Now, without further ado, let's commence our panel evaluation for this particular speech. So to do the honors, I would give the stage up to the lead evaluator, DTM GK Ajay. Over to you, Toastmaster GK Ajay.
Thank you, DTM Sudarshan. So I would go in a different way. First, I will invite my team members to provide their 1-minute feedback, and towards the end, I will give my evaluation. So now let's begin with the auditory evaluation. May I request Toastmaster Salman Hussain to provide the auditory feedback. Sir, you have 1 minute time. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ajay. Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard a very wonderful speech delivered by our fellow Toastmaster. A few good points I have noticed during her speech. The whole speech was concise, simple, and she delivered in a way that everyone can understand the underlying message of the whole speech. Kudos to you, Toastmaster, for that. And the second moment was the structure of the speech. it was structured and crafted in a way that I found every transition, uh, she transitioned smoothly during her speech. So that was something that connects everyone to his speech. The third part was use of storytelling. She she vividly painted the story during her speech, so that was one of the great weapons to connect the audience with her story. Now, coming to few areas for improvement, that is very important for her future speeches. I found something like a monotone during her speech. She was a bit monotonous during her speech. So, voice modulation or vocal variety is very important to convey the message. And audience engagement was a bit missing because when you connect to your audience, that means that the speaker is trying to convey the message of the speech in a better way. So it would be a takeaway for our fellow Toastmasters to engage the audience in your future speech, avoid monotone in your future speeches, and work on your stage moment so that you would have a wonderful speech in the future. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salman. Now let's move on to the next team member who is going to evaluate the speaker on the visual aspect. Let's welcome DTM Sudarshan to provide the visual aspect.
Thank you, DTM Ajay. First and foremost, to say that Toastmaster Alina is a visual speaker wouldn't be wrong. Why I say that is because of all the gestures that she employed. Whether it was looking in the mirror, whether it was displaying movement physically through her moving in front of the camera, or of course, in terms of the attire that she was wearing, which was captivating yet not distracting. So, all in all, I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, however, as I say this, I would also like to comment on this being a speech delivered on the Zoom platform, which requires you to ensure that you are visible smack bang in center of the screen. She started from the left of the screen, moved partially to the center, and then moved back away from the center. That created a bit of a dissonance. The second was, just as Alina was speaking to me, Lucy Liu was staring at me from the back, trying to capture my attention as well. And that is something that is to be avoided if you're on Zoom, because I would like to look at the speaker as much as I would like to look at fabulous looking heroines in the background, but they are not the center of attention at that point in time. Last but not least, light coming from top makes you look like an angel. Toastmaster Alina already speaks like an angel. Therefore, lighting from front will help a lot more in communicating your personality to all of us. All in all, a beautifully visual speaker with a wide tapestry of gestures, which can all blend together to bring that speech alive. Thank you for that. Back to you, DTM Ajay.
Thank you, DTM Sudarshan. Now it's time for me to provide the evaluation as a lead evaluator. Okay. So Alina Khan, congratulations on your speech. So the things which I like from your speech are as follows. It's an emotional speech. You started your speech with an emotion like the bonding of a brother and a sister who are fighting parents. And you clearly mentioned how kids face this trauma and what are the effects on their life. You spoke about three things like they take permission in whatever they wanted to do. So those things you clearly mentioned that. Your voice is very clear and you have a reasonable pace throughout the speech. It's really excellent. And okay, after some time, you started comparing that story with your real life, and you felt very uh, lucky, in fact, when compared to that story. So these are the things which I really like from your speech. But as always, if you want to make your speech or move your speech to the next better place, next level, so here are my recommendations. Sometimes, not always, at sometimes you're looking away from the screen because you are standing and you are thinking and speaking. This makes you to look beyond the screen or beyond the camera. So try to avoid that into the camera, maybe look at the audience, make it in a gallery view on your screen, and then look at the audience. And one more thing is that if you could have revealed where did you get that story, the initial story from? Who are those kids? Is it an article read somewhere, or is it somewhere a real life which happened in your friend's life or in your real life? So who are they? That was missing. You started with your story, you related with your life, and I was missing that connection. Like who are those two kids and who are the parents and how they are related to you. So that is missing as far as I concern. And most importantly, as Sudarshan has rightly said, uh, sometimes your lights which are in the background goes off, making your screen completely dark. I think it's an automated system, maybe lights. If you move hands, it will automatically glow on. So better to have something stationary kind of lights and have focus instead of from the top, have a focus or lights from the front so that we can see your facial expressions very clearly. So overall, it's an excellent speech. It's an emotional speech. You could incorporate my recommendations. Your speech will move on to the next level. And I wish you all the best for your next future speeches. Thank you so much. And back to you, DTM Sudarshan.
Thank you very much. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the way we do things at our club, which is the whole purpose of bringing all of us together. Now, I am downloading DTM Irfan's presentation. DTM Talak, are you able to download it? It's giving me some trouble here.
Okay.
I don't know why it says couldn't download. I've been trying to do it for the last couple of minutes, but check if you are able to do it.
It's actually I.
Okay, great. Since you have it, then we could possibly have you sharing the screen.
Yes, I will gladly, but okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. No
Great.
worries.
So, in the interest of time and the fact that we've already discussed the panel as well as the speech objectives, without further ado, I present to you speaker number 1, who's now speaker number 2, DTM Irfan Faruqi, with the speech titled Not a Drop to Drink. Not a Drop to Drink, DTM Irfan Faruqi. Over to you.
Thank you. Can I see the PowerPoint, please?
Just let's take a pause of about 10 seconds. Let me just note down the panel again because it has been reshuffled. So just to make sure that we follow the sequence and to help out the developer. So just give me.
DTM Talha, I am not there in the panel.
Sorry.
I am not there in the panel.
You are actually in the structural and language slot for this one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I've noted down the panel and yeah. So DTM Faruqi, shall I display the slides right off the bat?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Can you please start speaking so I can start the timer and then I'll display the slide. Okay.
Yes, please start the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Please, I can't see the presentation. Yeah, it's here now. It's not in presentation mode. Yeah, thank you very much. Water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Please, forward. Please move forward. The issue of water in Pakistan. To start with, let's see, our population growth is tremendously increasing, and I studied that from 5th in the world by in the next 50 years, it is presented that Pakistan will be the 4th largest population in the world. India, China, and then third country, Pakistan would be the 4th. Our cities are expanding. People are moving, shifting their lives towards the cities because of the income availability there. Agriculture is strongly intensified and excessive water is required there. All these factors are contributing to the groundwater extraction. We are regularly extracting water from ground. As a result, groundwater is depleting. And also, on the other hand, we are facing urban floodings, which is a new phenomenon. Too much rain in the cities, as we were just hearing about Bombay. All this activity, the groundwater depletion and urban water flooding, that is destroying our fresh water reservoirs which are under the ground. Next slide, please. Please change the slide. Let's look at where is the Earth's water. If you see, 96.5% of world water is in the forms of ocean, which is not drinkable for us. And there are other saline waters, which are 0.95% of the whole water available on the Earth, which means about 97.4% of the available water is not available. Only 2.5% fresh water is available for us. Although we say Earth is filled of water, so we have a lot of reservoir, but only 2.5% of this water is usable by human beings. Out of it, 68.7% is in the form of glaciers, 30.1% is in the form of groundwater, and only 1.2 is in the form of surface waters like lakes, etc. Next slide, please. If you look at the world's map over here, you will find out that the red and dark red areas are the areas which are called water stress countries. These are the areas where water is depleting. There's a scarcity of water. Next slide, please. World has already seen the biggest crisis of water. Cape Town 2017. Look at these slides. Educated, well-off people standing in queues to take water because water was depleted. They had to buy water from shops. Next slide. Next slide, please. Water is regularly, availability of water is decreasing over a period of time in Pakistan. Next slide. On the other hand, accessibility of the people to fresh water is also increasing. In these last years, the data shows more and more people now have access to water. On one hand, water is decreasing. On the other hand, a lot of people are have access to water. Next slide, please. What is happening? Pakistan, in form of water, is performing at the 18th worst level. Out of 100, and Pakistan's rank is 160. Only 18 are better than Pakistan. We are dependent on only one river. 95.8% of water is coming from industry, but over 60% of irrigation, 70% of drinking water, and 100% of industry is dependent upon the groundwater. We are only treating 1% of our water for reuse purposes. Population growth is 2.7% annually. And climate change, Pakistan is among the top 10 countries. Please stop mute the other people in admin, please. Mute everybody, please. Climate is changing. We are among the first 10 countries. Now, what is the situation? The situation says since 1960, underground water has been depleting by 3 feet per year. 1 meter water bed is going down. And it is 6 times increased per capita since 1960. Extraordinary population growth is among one of the biggest reasons. Please move next, please. What is the solution? Water stewardship is the solution of the problem. We should own the water and we should own how to handle the water. There are 3 areas in it. Socially equitable use. Everybody should have equal rights. Environmentally sustainable solutions and solutions that are economically beneficial. Next slide, please. This is water stewardship. Next slide, please. What is the solution? We can go for artificial recharging of the well. We can form wells where rainwater is artificially recharged. On left side is the reservoir. Rain goes into the well, which is normally 8-10 feet deep, 3 by 3 meter or 3 by 2 meter, and about 20 feet down. On the right side is overflow from first to the next. Coral sand, then crushed stones, and then loose boulders, and a pipe goes down from the bottom to the water surface, which is down there. This is the best solution. We have a lot of rain. We have a lot of problem. We get a lot of rain and we drain it. In Mumbai, that was told, if we have water reservoirs like that, we shift that water underground, water will increase. Thank you very much for letting me share this problem of Pakistan, which is not just Pakistan's problem, the problem of many other countries. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, DTM suggestion. Anyhow, let's move on to the evaluator panel and let's hand over the charge now to Toastmasters Innovation. Over to you.
Right, thank you so much. And what a wonderful speech. And I hope we are all well learned after this speech. So we learn a lot. So I'll start the evaluation segment and I'll start with the panel discussions first, and then I'll conclude my evaluation in the end. So I would like to invite DTM SAF for his evaluation as auditory evaluation. DTM SAF, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shahzeb. After a long time, I have seen you and you are gaining the weight. Please, 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 please spend your time on your body too. By having said this one, let's move directly to GTM Irfan Farooqi. My part is auditory and I'm going to focus on 5 dimensions. One is a bass, second is a clarity, third is a loud, and then modulation, and last one is a dialogue delivery. The pace exactly the same as a leader speak about 100 and 110 words per minute. Clarity, I can understand what you said. The loud, it is acceptable. But voice modulation, I think throughout your voice modulation, there was monotonous and soothing, and that put me in the sleep mode. I think there must be some climax inside, and there is a lot of area that you can create a climax. And the dialogues, there is a place that you can create a dialogue in between. That, do you know how many countries going to face the water crisis? That is going to get the attraction, and that will put ourselves into your speech. By overall, pace is good, clarity is good, loud. You have to work on the modulation and the dialogue, create a climax in your speech. Over to the lead evaluator.
Right. Thank you so much. And thank you for your kind words, sir. I'm grateful to be back. Right. So I would like to now invite Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. He is going to deliver the visual evaluation of uh, DTM Irfan Farooqi's speech. So Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Janzeb. And as has been discussed by my fellow evaluators, the speech was a real delight. And the issue is obviously very close to our heart. I mean, being the citizens of this earth. The visual aspect of the presentation, I mean, the presentation was very well structured. And I believe that it should have been a keynote speech rather than just a speech because of the breadth and depth of the content and the knowledge level that Toastmaster Irfan Farooqi has. So I think on the presentation side, it was very well done. On the visual aspect, he was sitting comfortably, leaning on one side, which I expected to be a little bit more on the balanced side. His hand movement, I don't think there was much that could have been done, but it felt a little bit monotonous at some occasions. The difference I was able to figure out because of one particular slide where he was talking about the depth, mentioning it through his hand and talking about different certain aspects of the recharge wells. So there was this difference that could have possibly been implemented across all the slides. But other than that, it was a very good speech, and happy to have looked at it from that perspective as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, TM Salman. Now it is time for the perceptile evaluation, and DTM Tala is going to deliver it. DTM Tala, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So perceptible evaluation is all about how the speech connected to the audience. As an audience member, I felt very strongly about the speech because it is an issue that is close to our hearts. And regardless of where we are, it is an important issue. It has become a global issue. So in that context, yes, I would just say that maybe it could have been improved a bit with emotional content in the beginning or in the end. An appeal to save water or something in that connection that would have helped the message land even more, along with the technical details. So that's my only comment about the perceptible part of the speech. I think the presentation was excellent, well done, and well connected with the audience because it was not too complex. It was simple and relatable. Just a little bit more emotional content, or maybe a conclusion would have been better. Over to you, Mr. Lee Developer.
Thank you so much, DTM Talam. And now I would like to invite DTM Ajay for structural and language evaluation. DTM Ajay.
Thank you so much, sir. So coming to the structural part, the speech is well structured. It started with the water problem in Pakistan. It's not only in Pakistan, it's elsewhere in the world, around the world. And you spoke about the issue, the reasons, and the solutions. In fact, the structure was well structured. But there is slight correction in the percentages. The total water in the world is showing us 99.9%. So if you can recalculate and readjust those figures, it will be 100%. So that's one thing I noticed in your slide. And it is, when it comes to the language, it's easy to understand and comprehend. And if you can reduce the number of slides, and I feel that it is crowded with too much content. So I think that the time is not also sufficient to cover all the slides. Cut down the slides and cut down the content, then your speech will be more effective. That's part on structure and language. Over to you, evaluator, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Ajay. And now it is time to evaluate the presentation in general. So, DTM Irfan, it was a well-researched speech. I'm so grateful to have been part of this meeting because I learned a lot from you, and the numbers which you presented in this presentation were very simple to understand. The presentation style was very easy. It was not complex because but this this topic is very complex in nature, but you presented the numbers in a way that was very easy to understand for the normal audience. So that is one part of it. The slides were very lucrative, or I must say attractive, which kept the audience engaged. And this topic is very important for us. I would like to share one example here. In Pakistan, people, especially the older generation, they do not know how to conserve water, the importance, because they think that it is in abundance. There is one very clear example that I live in Bahria town, Karachi. For someone who does not know, Bahria town is a community which is outside Karachi, so it's a distant community. It is not in the city. So what happens there? They charge for water. They charge very heavily for water, and that is where my mother stopped washing the pots on a daily basis. When we were in the city, the rates of water were very cheap, and then she had to clean or wipe the carports or the road in front of the house on a regular basis. But now, since it is very expensive, and there is a penalty from the Bahria town that if we see anyone, uh, using water on the porches, then they will fine. They will fine for about 2,000 rupees a month, and in case we repeat it, then it gets higher. So that is a very clear example of educating people, or somewhat taking the measure in a way that people understand that it is scarce, it is expensive, it is not to be spent, unwisely. So that is a very important thing. One thing I would like to comment upon is that the use of timing. You started very well. You were going very relaxed and smoothly, but suddenly the wrap up thing, when you wrapped your speech, it was rather quick as compared to the previous segment of your speech, the structure. But the end could have been a little smoother and relaxed in case you but there was a time limitation. Maybe that's why you wrapped it very quickly, and it could have been rather explanative, and the end could have been that more time could have been spent on the end, on the message actually. So that is all from my side. I hand over the charge back to the DTM Sudarshan.
Thank you very much. That was indeed an insightful evaluation with a personal example, not something that you get very often. Aspect of what Quantum Leap Toastmasters stand for, which is to bring alive the geek in you. And to do the honors this week, it is our resident geek in charge, DTM Talha bin Hamid, who is the geek of the week. So without further ado, I present to you our geek of the week, DTM Talha bin Hamid. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. And I'll try to cut this session as short as possible and also keep floating the polls in the meantime. So everyone, please vote. So today, my Geek of the Week session is not about doing something, but rather stopping doing something. Few years ago, I made a very tiny change in my life, and that changed my life to no measure, seriously. It was such a big change. It was in 2018 when I was working with an audit firm with 50 plus clients. And all day, every day, I was bombarded with emails, messages, and phones. And when a client calls you, of course, you have to pick up the phone, especially in office hours. Most of the clients were kind enough. They used to call in office hours. But then they used to send emails and worrying messages and queries after office hours. And I sincerely felt that it was having an effect on my mental health, and it was seriously taking a toll. So I did one thing. I just flipped a switch on my phone and I turned off the notifications. Apparently, it can be suicidal, right? Think about turning off notifications. You won't know what's going on. You won't receive alerts. You will never know now if Kim Kardashian is looking for a new suitor, or your best friend is once again going on a vacation uh, for the second time in 3 months, right? And or how many people have their birthdays today, and people you don't even care about, or you don't even ever want to meet again. You get to wish them happy birthdays on their Facebook feed, because and you have to pretend as if there's no greater friend or lover that they have. Imagine it's a monkey on your back, and that monkey is grabbing your head. And sometimes it does this, sometimes it does this, sometimes it opens your mouth, sometimes it shuts your mouth, sometimes it directs your eyes somewhere else. Imagine it's a monkey on your back. You're trying to do your own business, and yet you're unable to because of the constant distractions. So by turning that single thing off, the sound of notifications, it was nothing less than regaining the control of my life. How? Because previously, with the notification sound, every time there was a notification, I used to slip out the phone and see what was it, right? But in absence of those sounds, I suddenly had the authority to actually take out the phone when I wanted to. Imagine that. Imagine that. And you can do that too, impossible as it may seem. Because guess what? It's not obligatory on you to pick up calls or answer messages or respond to emails. Whenever someone tries to reach out to you, they're asking for your time. They're not dictating your time. Even if it's client during working hours or it's a colleague, you may have 10 more things on your table to do, right? And everybody does. But it is a bit of a failing on our part. And I believe that people outside Asia, in fact, people in the Western Hemisphere, do a much better job of it. They set your expectations early, they set them well, and they set them so that no side gets disappointed. Whereas we, in our eagerness to please, just take on everything, and we have that mentality of can-do attitude, ke haan ji, ho jayega. And yes, at that point in time, it is looking as if that yes, it can be done. But then the phone call ends and the reality lands that you have 10 other things waiting for your attention. That was not one single ho jayega. There are 11 others vying for your attention that you made, the commitments that you made earlier. So we need to discipline that. And I think doing that one single thing changed my life. I strongly urge you to do that. Put your phone permanently on silent. Only allow exceptions for your family members, and only allow exceptions for phone calls, not messages. Because if someone is messaging you, that means that the response can wait. If there's a family emergency and a family member wants to reach you or a close friend, by all means allow exceptions for them. But a permanent do not disturb mode, or at least a permanent silence of notifications, will certainly change your life. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Truly something that I follow and practice, which is why when Talha messages me at 11 a.m. when I'm at work, I generally tend to respond to it at about 5 p.m. And he says, "What were you doing?" Talha, you need to practice what you preach as well. But the fact of the matter is that this act of putting my WhatsApp notifications off, my entire social media on mute permanently, has truly enabled me to get to bed at an hour which is earthly, and wake up looking forward to the day. So that is something that I truly feel is a tool that we can use. And to the last point that Talha said, we in the subcontinent tend to fear missing out and therefore say yes to everything without realizing the consequence of saying yes to everything is effectively saying yes and doing nothing, which shakes your entire credibility. I do have an anecdote on this, which I will share. And now it's time for us to divert our attention to what we call in Toastmasters as table topics, but what in real life is an opportunity on which you need to react in such a way that the opportunity multiplies for you and for everyone around yourself. Toastmasters is a beautiful ground to practice that skill, and to helm the affairs of this particular segment, we have someone who loves putting people on the spot. And when they are on the spot, he reaches out and gives them his hand and lifts them up. He's been doing it for decades now in Toastmasters. He's a veritable doyen of Toastmasters who's empowered Toastmasters across countries and, dare I say, across continents, because DTM Saif, in his day job, does a lot of things, but comes to Toastmasters and he affixes those three alphabets with his name, he becomes an angel of hope, a beacon of excellence, and of course, a stickler to discipline. Let's welcome our table topics master for the day, DTM Saif Ali Sheikh, to take charge and take it forward. Yeah.
Sorry, apologies, DTM Sudarshan. Actually, the table topics master is Toastmaster Mason.
Oh, okay. My mistake. I'm so
Look at
sorry.
the agenda. And
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
GE is DTM. So,
But I like the introduction.
yeah, lovely introduction.
That introduction was genuine, and I shall
Yeah.
try and repeat it when you come for GE. And since I don't know Mason well enough to say all of that, all I will say is that he is someone that you should go to if your computer is stuck or if your profile on Facebook has been hacked. He will tell you how to find that hacker, and you can go like how our friend did in, and I will hack you, which is something that I think Mason can do and do really well. The technical writer and someone that lives between zeros and ones all through the day and can tell us 100 things about how to protect ourselves when we are out there in the big bad world called internet. Over to you, Toastmaster Mason.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. So, guys, I'll be your Toastmaster, table topic master for today, and so our theme is everything, everywhere, one step at a time. So I'll try to make the questions around this theme. So, our first speaker. Let's see who would be our first speaker for today. Salman Makpoon. Can you hear me? Are you available for a topic?
Yes, Toastmaster Mason.
Yes. Okay, so in our keynote speech, there were 5 aspects of our life that we should try to balance. One of them was health. So how do you try to maintain your health in your daily life and your work-life balance?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mason. You have got 2 questions in one question. 3 years back, before COVID, I was not that much careful about my health, and one day I faced some health issues, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "You have got XYZ, and you have to be careful about your health in future." And from that moment, I'm very curious when it comes to my health. And the doctor said, you have to make a balance between your work and your life. But Apart from this, I'm a bit confused about the two terms, work and life, because when it comes to life, work is there. When it comes to work, life is there. So these two terms are interlinked. But I'm pretty much agree with your notion that yes, uh, your work affects your health when you are overstretched with your all work at office. When you are at home, you are also doing some home chores, so you are compromising your health. In summary, I'm looking after my health. I'm doing some diet to balance my health, and also I'm working hard to uh, make things easier for me. When I'm in the office work. When I'm at home, no office work. I spend time with my family, and yes, with that, I'm also looking after my health. So I'm trying my best to give time to every aspect, be it health, work, and your the most important thing is life. So that's it. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salman. That was that was an amazing session, an amazing table topic, and truly, health is truly the wealth. And even I, in my teenage years, had that scare of some health problems, and after that, I started working towards my health. Now, inspired by uh, Toastmaster Ajay, even I'd say all of us, all of in this meeting should try to walk as well. I have been for past few months. I've been walking daily for 16,000 steps a day, and it really helps out in your health. So let's go for our next speaker. That would be Toastmaster Imran Rana.
He's not at the meeting.
He's
so
not
maybe-
available. Okay, let's let's go for Toastmaster Bad Bilgrami. So your topic is there a personal dream or goal you had to put on hold due to work? Is there a personal dream or goal you had to put on hold due to work?
Okay. Am I audible first? Thank you, Table Topic Master, for touching upon something that is a part of, thing that is on my nerves, and I've been thinking about it. There are lots of things in our lives that we desire and aspire to have, but do we get them all? No. There are restrictions that life puts on us. We can't do what we want to do unless life allows us to. The same experience I had. I've been an avid fan of acting and performance. I wanted to be a stage performer. Once there was a time when I was like young guy, I used to visit to Karachi Arts Council. I used to see people perform there, and I used to have this desire, that aspiration, that one day I would have the opportunity to work in a stage. I would perform. I wanted to do so, but like the the wheel, the work, the balance of life just got me into a situation where I wasn't able to perform what I wanted to, and life's responsibilities and so many things. First, I had some career aspirations that I had to give priority over. Then I had my family, and then so many things rolled on in my life that I couldn't somehow achieve that goal, and that goal is still on my nerves. I still yearn to be a part of it, but as we said, we can't get all the things in our hands. We have to abide by the life's regulations that are being put on us. So this is something that that is really touchy on me, and I'd love to share it all with you, that I wanted to. And Toastmasters community, joining Toastmasters community is one part of it. I wanted to perform, and there I learned that in Toastmasters speeches, you don't have to speak only. You also have to perform. And this is one way or another a part of an acting desire that I had, and I'm getting it fulfilled now. So thank you, Toastmasters community, and thank you for providing me the opportunity to have at least fulfillment of my desire. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster, the table topic master.
Thank you. And yeah, I have even found out that it really is, you have to perform in Toastmasters as well. And I've been embracing that in my speeches as well. So let's move on to the next speaker, which would be Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Can you hear me, Toastmaster Salman?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so your question or your topic is, what personal goals are you pursuing and how do you find time for it?
Well, it's kind of an interesting topic to talk about, the personal goals that I'm pursuing at the moment. My apologies for the disruption with this camera, just a little bit. Bear with me, please. So the personal goals that I'm trying to pursue at the moment is to basically have interests on the other side uh, than just work, because what I have realized over the past 16 years, or let's say even 20 years, 19 years of my career, is that somehow my professional love for the work that I do has spilled over into my personal life, and I have stopped doing a lot of things which I used to enjoy before, but now everything has been replaced by the work, and it is not out of the work requirement. It is out of my personal interest in that particular type of assignments. So I am trying right now to move myself a little bit away from that and more into the normal life routine, so that I can enjoy things that I used to do before, like reading books, or enjoying time outdoors, or attending meetings like this Toastmaster events. And I hope to be a little bit more on the tourist side of life than just being work, work, and work. In fact, it's very important because it helps me think again about my work in a more creative way, in a more productive way. I don't want to do that, but I can't help it. Even the personal non-work aspect takes me towards the towards the work. But that's something that I'm happy with, and I hope to enjoy things, enjoy life a little bit more than I used to before. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salman. And we all should be taking out time for personal goals. And research suggests that you can only do 3 to 4 hours of work, focus work in a day. So we should just do 3 to 4 hours of focus work, and the rest of the day we should uh, dedicate to personal goals, having fun, and prioritizing our health. So with that, we do not have more time for the session. So this will be the last, you were the last speaker for our session. I'll give the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sudarshan. Thank you.
DTM Sudarshan, I think he's away. So let's jump straight into the GE session. Please be soft on us, DTM Seth. Over to you.
Thank you very much, all in one, Toastmaster Tala. Let's get the language evaluator report. Toastmaster Tala,
Sure.
please share your language evaluator report, please.
Yeah. So overall, I think The standard of language used during the meeting was very high. The only downside that I could see for many speakers were the filler words. And that comes because you're out of practice, you're returning to the club after a long time. There's no shortcut to improving that other than regular attendance. So that's a message to many people who are present in this meeting. Starting with the TMOD, I'm so grateful that DTM Sudarshan was getting disconnected every now and then. Otherwise, my work would have been doubled. Whenever he speaks, it's a pain for the language evaluator. Remind me never to be the language evaluator when DTM Sudarshan is TMOD. So he said, when you take the quantum leap, you may never know where you land. Beatific smile, a man of few words, all pervasive. The keynote speaker's language particularly stands out because it was simple. It got the message across very well, straightforward to the point. And then the detailed selection again, lunch, dinner, dessert, all rolled into one. Hey, presto, because and be the cause. Toastmaster Alina, you started the speech in present tense, which is a great innovative technique. Usually we tell stories in the past tense. Congratulations on using that advanced technique because that is more immersive. And that also has an advantage that the writer or the narrator is also discovering what will happen next instead of reporting what happened in the past. So congratulations on that. You used internalized, your words were clear and with good separation. And you used one Urdu phrase, something like kya hoga. So I think, first of all, not advisable to do it in English piece. If you do, I think a good substitution in English could have been shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's the phrase we use to indicate uncertainty. The dots finally connected, beautifully used. Someone used what makes you success should have been succeed. Think from the mind should have been think with the mind. And in one slide, I noted that Celine was spelled as Celine, Celine. So whoever wrote that is a great Celine Dion fan, but and hats off to that. But the word should have been Celine. And that is pretty much it. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gamerian. And let's move forward straight to the general evaluations. The first thing is that the meeting start on time at 11 a.m. sharp. And President of the club, Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid, he mentioned that sometime DTM Saifuli Sheikh is a scary one, and that's the reason he started the meeting on the time. I don't know what he meant about it. The business sessions is missing since we have a lead club in District 122. We have to set the example for the other clubs to be followed as per the norms and the standard practice of the Toastmaster International. Ajay, it's a wonderful presentation, and you said 13 minutes as per the agenda, but somehow what happened, I don't know. When it's come to the geek of the week, we have short of 10 minutes. When it's come to the table topic, we have short of 8 minutes. And when it's time to the general evaluator, we have short of 9 minutes. I think when we are preparing the agenda, we have to rightly calculate the time. We, in between, I think the most of the VP education or others people who are making the agenda, we totally forgotten the transit period from one person to another person. That is also a time taking. So it should be accommodated in the agenda so we can have a meeting on time. So I will not going to extend this time since there is a 1 minute. I want to be this club meeting adjourned right at 1 p.m. Over to the president.
DTM Sudarshan, are you there? All right. So in the meantime, let me quickly throw the poll for the best table topic speaker first. Please vote. And after that, best major role player. And taking over the duties, thank you so much, DTM staff, for that absolutely phenomenal general evaluation. Yes, we need to resume the business session. especially since our minutes are prepared now very regularly. So there's no reason not to do a business session. Thank you so much. And yes, the timing, I also noticed that it was missing a bit of transition times, and that needs to be addressed in the agenda. Over to you, DTM Sudarshan. We have just
Sorry
been through
for
general.
dropping out at the most unexpected moment. My CEO called, so obviously when wife or CEO calls, you cannot deny taking those calls. That being said, as I come to the end of the session, the one thing that I have learned in my life is the road is a place of action, a place of activity, and a place of knowledge. And the reason why I say so is because all through I have encountered such interesting characters when I have sat beside them in their vehicles. And a parting message that I will want to leave is this, that I remember the day that my boss had called me at 4 p.m. to his cabin, which was huge. And usually he would point to his sofa and say, please sit. That day, he didn't ask me to sit. He just looked at me in the face and said, Sudarshan, it is not working out. I think we'll have to drop you from the team. And I was prepared for that, yet it came as a shock. As I was coming back home, that day I was in a position to drive myself. And the guy driving the car probably was a 23, 24-year-old Pathan from somewhere in Swat. And he kept looking at me as he was driving. The drive was 200 kilometers back from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. And after the fourth time he looked at me, says to me, why aren't you even smiling? So I said, no, listen, I'm in no mood to talk. You please drive. He looks back at me and he says, I'm younger than you, yet I think I'm going to say something to you which you should think about. He says, if you have come this far, do you think you are so bad that you will not go any further? When he said those words, I looked at him and I thought, why is he saying this to me? He doesn't know what's going on in my life. And then he went on to give me an example. I live in Dubai, which means this is the land of fancy and fancier and fanciest of cars. So car that passed us by was a Rolls Royce. We were in the second lane. I was in a Nissan Altima. The car passing by is a Rolls Royce. He looked at that and he says to me in Urdu, ये भी गराज जाएगी, इसको भी रुकना पड़ता है. बारी तो गराज जाना है. कुछ दिन गराज में रहेगी, दुरुस्त होगी, जब रोड पे फिर आएगी तो बहुत तेज चलेगी. That is life. So whatever is happening in your life, if you give up and stay put, thinking about what has happened, आप ना गराज जाएंगे, ना दुरुस्त होंगे, ना बाहर आएंगे. This was a person who has probably learned nothing other than driving a vehicle. But the wisdom that he possessed is the leadership lesson that I learned from him, that every one of us, somewhere, sometime, somehow, has to go and park in a garage. Someone else has to work on us, fix us, and bring us back to the road. And maybe we will run faster than what we were meant to be. And that's the lesson that I thought I should leave you all with, because the road has taught me so much. And as I keep going further, and they give me wisdom which is way beyond what all management books give you, way beyond what learned, educated PhDs can sometimes tell you, where these people live life and not talk life. And therefore, on the road, on four wheels, there is a whole world of leadership sitting. If you are willing to keep your eyes, ears, and hearts open and receive that information which can sometimes transform your life. Thank you for having me as your Toastmaster of the day. Back to our president, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
So much, DTM Sudarshan. Let's vote for the best major roles there. And DTM Sudarshan, let me highlight your session as TMOD. It was absolutely amazing. It's begging to be a keynote, or it's begging to be 2 or 3 speeches. It is really, really, we all go through the same life. I mean, we all have broadly the same experiences, but some Toastmasters struggle to come up with stories and speeches, and the others, the stories just pour out of them. What's the difference? They are living the same lives. It's just that you have to flip that switch in your mind. And once you do that enough, once you have enough speeches, once you do enough Toastmastering, that switch is permanently flipped. You're constantly looking for stories, you're constantly noticing, and you then never struggle to come up with speech topics. I will also particularly like to highlight DTM Irfan Farooqi. He never misses an opportunity to make a speech. And the more you do it, the better you get. It's kind of that reinforcement cycle. Again, even after achieving DTM, both DTM Sudarshan and DTM Irfan, they never shy away from speaking opportunities. So absolutely a phenomenal job by them. And I will now open the floor. I will first, I've floated the poll, yeah? Yeah. So now I'll open the floor for guest comments. And our first commenter will not be a guest. He will be a member, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Just let's ask him, how does he feel returning after such a long time to the meeting?
Well, it felt really good, to be honest. And it was quite interesting that the first speech that I gave was about a certain topic. You remember about the chalk around the frog. And then when Toastmaster Misam asked me about the personal goals and personal stuff, so it kind of felt a little bit of a really happy moment that yes, this is really good to be back over here and enjoying the company of such nice people who are here to lift you up, inspire you, particularly Toastmaster Sudarshan. I mean, it's always amazing to hear you talk and take inspiration from you, Toastmaster Talha. And of course, I mean, the interesting topics that we get to hear, like the one presented by Toastmaster Irfan Farooqi and Toastmaster Alina Khan as well. So I'm really happy that I'm starting it again, and we'll inshallah go a long way from here onwards.
Great to have you back, Toastmaster Salman. And,
Thank you.
And Toastmaster Alina Khan, your comments.
Thank you so much for having me again. I am a bit new to these online Toastmaster meetings, but I found them equally engaging, and especially today too. I had great time. The TMOD, DTM Irfan and DTM. If I'm not spelling their name, it's Sudarshan and Ajay also did a great job. They kept on engaging and they were such informative topics. So I have been to other clubs where in our club we have a different from emotional level to it's a corporate club, it's different touch. But today I thoroughly enjoyed these 2 hours. I didn't realize that the time passed on so quickly. So thank you for having me, and I would be looking forward to more such meetings again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please tell that to our journal evaluator as well. But thank you so much. And yes, I think I may be a bit biased and all. Our meetings may be attended by fewer people, but I dare anyone to challenge the standard of the meeting. I think this is as good as any meeting that I've attended. And every time that is proven, thanks to all the gems that we have right now with us. So Toastmaster Web, what about you?
Thank you, Deacon Talha. It's always a pleasure, and it's great to be a part of Quantum Leap Advanced Toastmasters meeting. One thing great about Toastmasters meeting is that you learn a lot. You learn a lot of wisdom from people across, and every Toastmaster meeting is wonderful, and especially yours. Like these are some of the clubs where I always have enriched in information and wisdom. So I'm really happy to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And yes, that was the very reason behind the establishment of this club, to bring together nerds and geeks and to celebrate being a nerd rather than becoming a point of ridicule. That was the whole point. And the people that joined us are either declared nerds or geeks, or they want to bring that side out. So that's the beauty of Quantum Leap, and you'll see that again and again. Toastmaster Salman Hussain, your comments. Maybe you're away right now. Toastmaster Jazeb Shah, again, another member returning after long. Your comments.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be back. And for Quantum Leap, it is as everyone mentioned that we leave this meeting wiser and smarter, and such a lovely people around. So I'm grateful, and I try to be consistent. That's all. That's all. Thank
We'd love to have you back again, Toastmaster Jazeb. One of the reasons this club exists, one of the founding members of Worldwide Advanced Toastmasters Club. So he and Sudarshan both are the common thread behind the two advanced concept clubs that we have today. Best speaker goes to Toastmaster Alina Khan. Congratulations. Best evaluator. Yeah. Yes, Sudarshan.
No, I thought she just left the meeting where she was saying bye.
Oh, he is there. Yeah, best evaluator is a tie between DTM Ajay and Toastmaster Jazeb. So congratulations. I'm not about to break the tie. Best modular evaluator goes to DTM Sudarshan. Congratulations. He always walks away with this prize because number one, he always qualifies time-wise, and number two, he manages to cram the maximum stuff in that 1.5 minutes. Best table topics today goes to Toastmaster Vaidil Grami. That's also becoming something of a pattern. Congratulations. And best major role player goes to our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Sudarshan. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. DTM,
So with that,
I just want to say one thing before Tala finishes this session. There used to be an actor in Indian movies called Sohrab Modi. And the most memorable role that he's played is that of Porus speaking to Alexander when he loses the battle. I can see in your voice and facial expressions those opportunities. So if you have not yet pursued it, go to that place where you can and try it out. Trust me, you will not regret it. Back to you, Tala.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone who is part of this meeting, you're more than welcome to be the part of our next meeting, which is coming in another 2 weeks' time. And what's more, we expect to have the immediate past District Director, District 80, DTM Swarna, sharing some of the success lessons from the success of her district in terms of the performance. So stay tuned and please make sure that we are all part of that amazing session. DTM Swarna, by the way, is also one of the founding members of this club. She has always contributed amazingly well whenever she can. And so, yeah, everybody, see you all. Have a great weekend and see you all